On a rocky beach in South Wales, where the waves lap the shores and the seagulls cry, children can be heard playing, singing and laughing merrily. This is Ty Hafan, a place where the families of children expected to die young learn to live life to the full. Butterflies are seen everywhere in Ty Hafan Children's Hospice, a metaphor for the short yet beautiful lives that the charity helped to create for the children. When a child is so unwell that they're not expected to live into adulthood, they turn to Ty Hafan. Referred in a time of need, they're in search of care and support. The hospice helps, often over many years, to fulfill every potential, and at the end of their lives, they are there to provide support, care, and love. A brave teenager addicted to life, and a family touched by warmth and kindness in their darkest hour. These are stories of humanity shining through in a time of adversity. Unlike many people's preconceptions, a children's hospice is not just a place where young people and children come to die. Ty Hafan is more than a warm atmosphere, hand-printed walls and beautiful surroundings. It's an ethos that encourages living life to the full, whether at the hospice itself or in the family home.
The reason I have this little block on top of my shelves that says don't count the days, make the days count, because I think so many people just go through life wishing away days and weeks, and to me it seems like they just go through it with their eyes shut, like they don't experience anything. And I think because of my condition, in a way I'm sort of forced to make the most out of every day. And I don't say that in like a cheesy way. I genuinely do get up in the morning and think, right, what do I really want to do today that I can do? You need that at the pile, and I need to go and get some bits now. So everybody watch out, because I'm reversing out.
Today, Amy Claire Davis has invited all her friends and family to join her on a trip to the park.
Oh, right. I have a horse.
Ty Hafan have arranged for her to plant a tree, number 163 on her bucket list.
My bucket list is my list of, I think it's 240 things at the minute that I want to do in my life before I kick the bucket, as we say. So the full name is the Before I Kick the Bucket list. I kept thinking of things I wanted to do, but I realised I was never doing them. So I just had a little notebook, and I would just jot them down when I was out and about and say, right, I want to go for a ride in a speedboat, and I want to go, like, own a Porsche, or even stuff that for me that would be really difficult. Like I've said, I'd like to travel around the world, but again, that'd be quite difficult because I'm like, people don't like having me on a plane in case I keel over in the aisle and they have to do something about it. We have one bucket list.
Who did you ask out on a date?
To tell me the from school, just to make it clear.
Oh.
Everybody say Rottweiler.
Rottweiler!
Amy is Steve and Caroline's only child, but today they've got their hands full with an army of schoolmates that have come to support her.
It's my happy occasion. She's putting something down on her. It's another thing down on the list. Yeah. Something she wants. We all want that for her.
It's nice to share that moment with her.
Yeah.
I'm liking the matching outfit.
Ty Hafan's been a big part of Amy Claire's life since she was referred there in 2009, where it became clear that there was no known cure for her. And her school friends hear all about the place.
How are you, Al?
Smelly. It is It's scary because you hear that hospices are people, like, for people who don't have much hope and a place for people to die, but with Ty Hafan, it's more of like an opportunity for children to have more of a life.
And thinking about it, when you said like it's not much kind of hope for kids, but Amy Claire, I mean, she's got loads of hope going for her, and she's a fighter. She's always there, and
Ty Hafan just helps her so much as well. It gives Caroline and Steve a break, and it's just really good for her because she gets to do so much there, and it's much better than hospitals, more homely.
Oh, get down there!
Amy Claire's illness is a mystery.
Move your bum down there, everyone!
No one really knows why her body systems are closing down, but it's left her in constant pain and in need of around-the-clock medical care.
He's planting a blossoming cherry tree today, which forever look over the park.
Standing by Amy's side, as ever, in all that she does, are her parents, Caroline and Steve.
Into everybody's life she meets, and in our case, a beautiful, wonderful daughter.
A couple of us were thinking in the car that I should just say this. Most people have a wake after they're dead. I thought, why have that when I'm not there? Let's have a party while I'm here instead. So I'm just going to read a short poem and then say a few words. The poem's called In This Short Life. In this short life that only lasts an hour, how much and how little is within our power? I chose that poem because it's all about how much is within our power, obviously, to have an amazing life, to live your life to the full. And I think that's something really important that I want everyone to learn from the bucket list. And I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's come today. It's a bit like overwhelming to see everybody all in one group, but it's amazing to know I've got a lot of support behind me. Thank you very much for coming. I wanted to plant a tree because I wanted to do something that everyone would be able to see, and it would be like a part of me was there because I'd done that, and there's a plaque there with your name on it. I like the way you've got me a bit proud. Oh, no!
What's she
It was just really lovely ceremony, and really nice. And he wasn't sad at all, so I don't know why I'm crying, but it was really lovely. So we're going to go to the Ramada Jarvis now and have a cup of tea and recover.
I don't think I would be me. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm crying. Just because they're amazing. They're the best. I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't have the friends and family that I have.
A major issue for all of Ty Hafan's families is the vast amount of care their children require, often given over a period of months or years without a break. To help with this, the hospice offers regular respite throughout their child's life, giving families from all over South Wales a rest from their duties and allowing them to just enjoy being parents. The responsibility for the child's well-being is taken over by the trained staff of the hospice. The parents and siblings can also stay, or they can take a rare opportunity to do other things. Today, an old friend is in for a short break.
This is Ashley Jenkins. Yeah. You okay? You're a bit sleepy today, I think. You're going to say hello to me? Yeah? I knew I'd get a smile eventually. I knew I'd get one eventually. All the girls are waiting for you. Should we go in and find them?
17-year-old Ashley's mad about girls, football and Top Gear. Hayley Mason of the family support team has known Ashley and his parents since shortly after Ty Hafan opened their doors 12 years ago.
How's he been now?
As well as could be expected.
Whilst pregnant, Mum Nicola was affected by an extremely common virus, similar to the cold sore virus. In most cases, it's harmless, but Ashley was one of the unlucky few, and it caused severe brain abnormalities, leaving him profoundly deaf, unable to speak, and suffering regular seizures.
He has his good days, he has his bad days, and when he has his good days, everybody knows. He's quite happy and everything, and he's normally smiling and full of the joys of spring, as they say. But he won't let me put his shoe on at the moment. You got cheeky smiles today, haven't you? Yeah.
For a boy like Ashley, who seldom gets an opportunity to go outdoors, an Easter egg hunt in the grounds is a rare treat.
But there he is! Oh, there's the rabbit! Oh, gosh!
Today, like many days, the beautiful, tranquil gardens at Ty Hafan are being taken over by a marauding mass of screaming children and staff, and nobody is left out.
For some of the parents that are here today, if they wasn't in Ty Hafan, they would never do an Easter egg hunt today, because they wouldn't have the opportunity to do it, because our children perhaps don't go to schools that do that kind of thing. So it's pretty special for them.
Well, Ashley, I think won the Easter parade.
Ash. Look at that.
Look at that. Oh, can I have a He's not impressed today, is he?
I'll leave him there.
Suddenly but quietly, Ashley suffers a seizure, a period of intense abnormal brain activity. It's a difficult thing for stepdad Steve to witness.
Painful, very painful, because you can't do nothing. You want to help him, but you can't. Really, really hurts.
He's come out of hospital about 3-4 weeks ago because he was having seizures of 2.5 hours and an hour and a half, and they were he was even quite frightened in him, and to watch him being frightened is hard to watch as well on his face, because he's very scared, very anxious. Yeah, he's coming back round now, he is. So sometimes with the seizures, a lot of children can end up in intensive care as well. At the moment, Ashley hasn't, but he's been quite a few times where he's been quite close there, but which is heartbreaking to watch as well, and watch him go through the pain afterwards as well. Daddy, push you down? Yeah.
I'll get in bed and cut you over there.
Okay. Daddy give you crutches.
I'll get in bed and cut you?
Yeah. You'll have crutches with Dad now.
Yep.
Pain is a massive issue in Amy's life. She takes 28 different drugs every day, including some of the strongest pain relief drugs available.
I have pain all the time, which is probably quite hard for someone to understand, but I've got used to it. And so we call this pain that I have all the time background pain. So we use the fentanyl patch to help control the background pain, and then the paracetamol and the Oromorph are for what we call breakthrough pain.
Okay, you're off, yeah?
Life is a constant blur of coming and going for Caroline and Steve, who both work part-time as well as tending to their daughter's complex medical needs.
I'll ring the garage.
Soon, Amy will take a short break at Ty Hafan, which will give her parents a chance for their first night away for many years.
It's really hard for people to understand, I think, that we are basically full-time carers as well as being parents. So we are full-time caring, full on. We never ever stop caring. Nobody comes along and says, would you like to? That doesn't happen. It's not a choice you make. And it's like any other parent, you don't get an instruction book for looking after a young person like Amy. And it's really hard. What happens if you unclamp it before it's screwed in, eh?
I throw up through my tube all over it's like when a hose pipe is let go of. And it has happened before.
When their doors first opened in 1999, all of Ty Hafan's work was done within the building. Over the years, they've evolved to fulfill the needs of families and now do much of their work reaching into people's homes, learning about their lives and tailoring their care accordingly. Today, Hayley's off to Abertwysog in the Rhymney Valley to visit Ashley Jenkins. Ashley is fanatical about Everton Football Club. Mum Nicola struggled for many years on her own to bring up Ashley and his brothers and sisters until stepdad Steve came into their lives 8 years ago.
Coming to a family, you know, with just normal kids is hard enough, and, you know, when I met Ashley, Nick said to me, like, you know, it's up to you if I wanted to get involved or not, you know. She didn't force me or nothing, and, like, I wanted to know as much as I could care about him and love him, and the more I got to know him, the more, you know, the more loving it was and rewarding it was. And I knew him from when he was well, and we just bonded straight away. I've learnt his crafty ways and how he is. Like, he'd wrap me around his finger, because every time if I go to the toilet in the middle of the night, he'll pretend to cough or he'll shout. So I'll go into him and he'll play me up, and I'll go in and in. And then I get so knackered, and I'll tap Nicola and go, oh, you'll have to look after him, and she only got to go in and tell him once, and that's it. And he listens, and I think, you bugger.
Ashley, he is fab. He's such a cheeky little man, and I've known him for about 12 years now, since he was a little dut, and now he's a young man, maturing, going into the adult world, but he's quite a poorly young man, and we're having to have quite detailed discussions at the moment with his family about future treatment and where we go from here, really, with regards to his conditions. Did he have a count?
A rough night.
Did he?
2 big seizures.
Oh, never me is flat out.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, so are they different? Would you say they're different seizures to the ones before?
Yeah, they're different again.
Like
he's twitching with his shoulders and everything, and his nails went blue, his tongue went blue. We had to give him oxygen as well.
Oh, love him.
So he's whacked out again.
No playing today then, Ash?
No.
Oh, we leave him sleep it off.
Yeah.
Leave him sleep it off. I have Nick before.
No one knows how severe Ashley's seizures are, but they are now happening more frequently and lasting longer.
I can see him going in again.
Can you?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. It's the length of a seizure. You can't. I wouldn't want him to have them more regularly than he's having them. 45 minutes is just too.
Is he waking up?
It's too much for him, like.
Yeah, I know.
No, he's in one, like.
He's in a seizure. Is he again?
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Where's your clock for me to time it, Harry?
It's difficult to gauge, but it seems his health over recent weeks is deteriorating rapidly.
Waking up from your sleep.
Think he's having a seizure because he's waking up, or is he waking up for the seizure?
He's waking up with the seizure. The bloodshot is out later.
And his pupils covered.
Just go and get the oxygen, just in case.
For Ashley, seizures can be life-threatening. His breathing becomes shallow, and Nicola and Steve know all too well they need to be on hand with emergency medicine.
Just a
yeah,
test,
the little one leads to the big one's end tonight, don't they?
Is that what he's been like, not having long in between?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After a few minutes, the seizure is over, and Ashley is left exhausted. Over the course of her career in Ty Hafan, Hayley has supported dozens of families up to, during, and after the death of their child. It's becoming clear to her that it's time to consider making plans to support the family should Ashley die.
You holding my hand? The reason that we feel that Ashley is perhaps coming to a stage where we want to be discussing end of life things with his parents is because he's not quite the same. Do you know, he's lost that little spark, and for us, that gives us an indication that perhaps something neurologically is deteriorating, and it is part of his overall condition, and it's something that we expected to happen. But for us, over the last, say, 5 or 6 months, we've noticed a marked deterioration, so we feel these discussions are warranted now. For Ashley, sadly.
It's not every day a Bentley roars up the Ty Hafan driveway. They've pulled some strings and have managed to bring a special visitor to stay in some style. Bucket list item number 24 of 250.
You're going to get one of these mobility now, yeah?
Yeah. Is it good? Do you enjoy? Yeah? Fantastic.
Amy is in for a short break, and for the first time, she is staying without her parents.
I've just been in a Bentley from home to Ty Hafan and it was amazing and I want one. If anyone's watching, can you buy me one?
Before Steve and Caroline leave, they need to go through Amy's specific medical needs with the trained care staff.
These are all Amy's medication. She's on, I think, roughly 25 tablets a day.
Obviously that one's out of her emergency kit.
Our house, our kitchen is like chemists.
If she's had 6 consecutive hourly doses, nobody can give the 7th without advice. Of course.
Well, it's some confidence of the people looking after who know that they know her and that they can look after her really well. And Amy's happy, and that's the main thing. If she's not happy somewhere, we were not happy to leave her anywhere.
A hospice is not a hospital. Here the focus is on treating the individual, not curing the illness. They have a team of professional nurses and care staff that aim to keep the children comfortable, pain-free, and as happy as possible. So during Amy's stay, she can choose to do what she wants, go shopping or to the cinema, or even tick off a few items on her bucket list, a taste of the independence that other teenagers take for granted. Darkness often brings a time of agony for Amy, but with the care team by her bedside, her first night away from her parents is no worse than any other.
Mum and Dad have gone on holiday to North Wales for I think that's the first weekend away from each other we've had in probably a good few years, probably about 4 or 5 years. I was a bit worried about it. I was trying not to think about it, but actually I've been fine. And I think if I was somewhere I'd want to be when my parents were away, I'd probably want to be here, because I know there's loads of people who can look after me if something does go wrong. And I got loads of people for cuddles anyway, if I can't have a hug off Mum or Dad.
Amy's first stay on her own has been a success, and she hopes to return again later in the year. In the meantime, she'll sit her GCSEs, determined to make plans in defiance of her uncertain future. Hayley's preparing an end-of-life plan for Ashley, who she's known since he was a toddler. An end-of-life plan is a guideline for all the professionals and family members involved in the care of a child who's expected to die. Doctors, health workers, and most importantly the child and their family can outline decisions on what they would prefer to happen as the condition deteriorates. They aim to give a child what they call a good death.
It's just, I don't know if I could do it. It's just if I lost him, I'd lose a lot, really a lot, it'd obviously affect us all, but, and just have to start rebuilding again, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just gonna do basically what's best, really, for Ashley in the long run, and then deal with my emotions afterwards. So I just run with what's happening at the time, and then afterwards I sort of deal with everything when it's sort of over.
Like I said to you, I got to start building up my own personal barriers inside my head, because I know nothing will always prepare you for it. But you can, if you set up something, it helps. In the long run, because you got to be strong for other people as well as yourself,
Today, Hayley needs to speak to Nicola, Steve, and older brother Josh to learn their wishes and fears surrounding Ashley's death. It's never an easy conversation.
I know this is going to be a difficult discussion, probably with lots of tears, but that's okay. If you want to stop at any time, then just say, and we can stop, have a cup of tea, have 5 minutes break, or we can stop altogether. It's entirely up to you.
I better go and get tissues ready.
I've got some in my bag.
I know you will. I know.
If Ashley was to deteriorate and if he was to have what we call an acute deterioration, so if he had a respiratory or cardiac arrest. Have you thought about what you would actually do at that time?
Everything short of ventilation and intubation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you happy with that decision then, that we wouldn't start cardiac massage and we wouldn't be giving any mouth-to-mouth?
No, I'm happy with that.
That's the right decision, okay.
Yeah.
If a child dies at home and they haven't got an advanced care plan or pathway in place, it's seen as a sudden and unexpected death. So what happens then is that very often an ambulance would be called, and if the child has died, then the police have to be informed, because obviously to the ambulance crew it's a sudden and unexpected death. And then the police call to the house, and in the occasions when I've worked with them on it, they've been very sensitive, but they've also obviously got their own jobs to do, so they have to investigate. And also, without a plan being in place, the children will automatically get resuscitated and taken to hospital, and it's very much then out of the parents' hands, because it's down to the clinicians that are dealing with the child as to what treatment they see fit. And they may not always know the child. They won't have the notes, perhaps in A&E. So by doing the plans, we can kind of address those issues before there's a need.
And what we'd be asking you to do is to let us know when you just needed time on your own with him.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to interfere. We don't want to be in there with you all the time.
Yeah.
We want to support you, but you need time as a family as well.
Yeah.
To say your goodbyes, I guess.
Yeah.
So we'll be guided by you. I'm sorry, though, I don't mean to upset you.
Right.
It's like where the consultants have said he never lived past his first birthday and stuff like that, then I've sort of gone through different scenarios of different things in my head over the years, and a couple of times when he's been in A&E and everything, and they said they don't think he was coming back, and then he's popped his head up and laughed at us, which is Ashley.
I think that's the thing with something like Ashley. We expect it every time, don't we? Because he's done it a couple of times.
Yeah.
We get a bit complacent and think he's going to do it every time.
But I know something's telling me that it's not going to be this time that he's going to come back. Okay. So I normally go with my gut instinct and stay with that.
That's okay. I know it's difficult, but you did far.
With a plan now in place, the family can rest assured that whatever the future holds for Ashley, their wishes will be known. A source of comfort when the time comes.
I've been involved with families where the children have died in hospital, at home, and in the hospice, and there's such a big difference to the support that they get and the choices that they can make. We had a young lad in year just after Christmas, and he was in hospital on a ventilator, and we knew that he wasn't going to pull through. So the parents decided that it would be best for him to come to the hospice to die, because we'd known him for a couple of years. And he came, and in a way it was so lovely, and I know that's awful to say when I'm talking about a child's death, but it was so beautiful, because he had his mum and his dad and all his family around him, and even little things that we did that made a difference to them. They were planning a big family party with fireworks, and when he was taken ill, they kept saying to him, "Oh, we'll have your party, don't worry, we'll have it when you come out." So when he came to us that day, they took the ventilator off him, and we pushed his bed up towards the window, and he was just there with his family clutched in, with these fireworks going off, surrounded by all the love that his family could give him, and his dog on the end of the bed. And after we finished the fireworks, within about half hour he died. And I just thought that was so beautiful for them, and it was what they wanted. And as difficult and as emotional it was for us, that's the difference that we make.